making plans to FedEx some Corky's barbecue to the Space Center in Houston and have it arrive just in time for the commander's return to Earth November 30th. Ben Watson, Action News 5.
That's pretty great right there.
Pencil in, I guess, right?
Well,
or that was the foxhole one.
That was the foxhole one.
All right, guys, we are back. Welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable. Today is January the 12th, 2021. And we are having fun tonight. Today is January. Katie sent us a note a while ago. She is tied up and can't make it tonight with us, but we've got Glenn with us and we've got Alan with us. We'll probably open the phone lines toward the end of the show here. We're going to give away an antenna to one of our viewers out there today, an HF antenna from LDG. But hey, if you're listening out there on international shortwave on WBCQ on 7490 today, we'd love to hear from you. Send us a note, an email to tom@w5kub.com, tom@w5kub.com. Let us know where in the world you are and how you're hearing it and so forth. This show is about ham radio, and if you're interested in ham radio, amateur radio, this is where you need to be. Oh, man, we have a special guest here tonight. Astronaut Doug Wheelock is calling in. Let me get Doug in here. Hang on, everybody.
Oh, cool.
All right. Let's just see who pops in here. This is kind of a surprise tonight. Doug, are you there?
There I am. Can you hear me?
Doug, I hear you. There you are. Look at this, guys. Doug,
Space guy.
Doug, I did not hear back from you, and I wasn't sure you were going to be here tonight.
Yeah, is that okay if I just pop in? Say hello?
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely, but you know what? We may have to make you pop in again later.
All right, that's no problem.
You may have to schedule it and come back again just because you did this.
Oh, absolutely. I'd like to join you every week if I could.
All right. Well, hey, man, we are so glad to have you. Guys, this is a pleasant surprise. This is our friend, Astronaut Doug Wheelock. Astronaut, he was the commander of the International Space Station. Well, that's the ISS, right? Did I get that right, Doug?
Correct. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra.
That's correct. And Doug made like thousands and thousands of contacts on ham radio up there. And I talked to him, the way I met Doug, I talked to him 29 times 1 month. I talked to him 3 times driving home in my truck. Do you believe that? 3 times to the space station from the mobile. Anyway, he was very nice to take my call that many times. He probably got tired of talking to me.
Not at all.
But I knew Doug was coming down within a week or so, and I said, Doug, can I send you some famous Memphis barbecue? And you said, yes, sir. And I sent it to you, man. How was the barbecue, Doug?
It was awesome. The Corky's barbecue from Memphis. When I was talking to Tom, I was getting toward the tail end of. I think I only had a week or so left, wasn't it, Tom? And
yeah.
And in a 6-month mission, and so, man, I was missing home. I was missing the planet and all the good things, that we have down here. Evidence of life, good barbecue, right? So
yeah.
So I mentioned Corky's barbecue and then I was having dreams the last few days I was up there in space. And then when we go into a few days of quarantine after we return to the Earth mostly for medical overwatch and some testing and things like that. And my first real meal back on Earth was Corky's barbecue.
Oh. Well, I tell you, I hope. And I'm sure you guys have an official taster, right? I mean, they're not just going to give you any food. And I was real concerned that they were going to let you eat barbecue that I sent you. I didn't know that was going to even be possible.
Well, they actually didn't tell me about it until we got back. I actually landed in the Soyuz, which is on land in the middle of Kazakhstan under a chute. And so we land this little capsule. And then we go through they get us out and into tents and do some initial medical checks and things like that. And then we fly on a helicopter for about an hour to the nearest local town, nearest town. And it's really, the Kazakh steppe is really vast grasslands of nothing for thousands of miles. And they take us to the nearest town and we do a welcome back to Earth ceremony with the indigenous peoples there, and they're really just a really amazingly unique ceremony. And then they take us out to the tarmac and stick us on a jet, NASA jet, and they fly us all the way back to Houston with a couple of refueling stops. And we land in Houston about 24 hours after we land, and so we had kind of snacky things on the plane, and we stopped in Prestwick, Scotland for our first refueling stop, and then on to Goose Bay, Gander, Newfoundland, and then into Houston. And as soon as I got into quarantine facility, they said, yeah, we've got some food ready for you guys. And Colonel Wheelock, you've got some barbecue here from Memphis, flown in from Memphis. And so we all sort of laughed about it. And I shared it with my crewmate, Shannon Walker, as well. And so we enjoyed that home barbecue from Memphis, Tennessee.
Well, that is so cool, Doug. And you mentioned Sharon. Is it Sharon Walker?
Shannon Walker.
Shannon
She's actually
Walker.
up there now.
Yeah, I was going to say she's in orbit right now as we speak, and that's so cool.
Yeah, she's up there now.
Well, man, it's been a real pleasure to be a friend with you and communicate and talk with you. It's really interesting, everything we talk about. And one of the things that after Doug and I met through the barbecue deal, he must have liked the barbecue so much. He has been with us to Hamcation, I think 7 or 8 years now. And look, there's no Hamcation this year, but Doug, we'll do again sometime. Now, hey, Doug, are you still up in Cleveland?
Yeah, I've got an interesting new project that I'm working on for NASA. So you may remember back in the Apollo days, we had they were the Lunar Lander training vehicle and the Lunar Lander research vehicle. I'm getting a little bit of a delay. I'm take a second here, Tom, and get off of I'm on my
Okay.
VPN to work. I might go blank for
if we
just a
lose
second
you,
here.
if we lose you, you can connect back or something. And let me ask Michael Cawley real quick. Michael, are you there, Michael?
I'm here.
Michael, do you have enough time? Can you kind of wait a little bit, and you can go after Doug tonight? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
And you may have to stay up late. Okay. All right. Well, back to Doug. Hey, Doug, we're back. Doug, I'm so happy. Did we lose Doug? I think we lost him.
Yeah, he's reconnecting.
Okay, he's lost. Guys, I had talked with Doug, and he said, I'd like to be on your show, but there he is.
Yeah, I'm back.
I wasn't sure. Okay. So, I'm hearing some feedback. Who's that coming from? Let me look. Can anybody tell where the feedback's coming from? I think it's coming back from Glenn.
What? It looks like I'm up there twice. Oh, Tom, you got me on your screen.
I got you. I'm trying to find out who I'm getting the feedback from. It's either Michael or Glenn, I think.
I was muted, so it wasn't.
Test
me.
1, 2, 3. Okay, I don't hear it now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think Doug muted himself. I think it's coming from Doug.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I wonder if you got to jump out and jump back in Zoom because you changed your. You said you went from VPN to direct, and I wonder if that screwed up the echo cancellation.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I wonder if you got to jump back in Zoom
I'll dial back in, okay?
Yeah,
if you want to have Mike go first, so I don't hold him up, then I could rejoin you guys. How about if I call back?
That's fine, Doug. That's fine. If you don't mind calling back and joining.
You want to have Mike go 10, 15 minutes or so?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. All right, I'll call you guys back here in a little bit.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
10, 15 minutes.
Michael? Yeah, that'd be great. Let's see. Michael, you there, Michael?
I'll call you guys back here.
I am here.
We're gonna skip all the preliminary of hi everybody, and we're just gonna jump right in the show. Doug and I had communicated, but he didn't confirm what night he's gonna be here, and it was a big surprise when he came in a minute ago. But I kind of thought in the back of my head he might be there, So, hey, let's talk real quick about Hamcation. We've got Michael Cawley with us, W4MCA, General Chairman of Hamcation. Let's talk real quick about, and we all know Hamcation is canceled this year, just like many other Hamfest. And also, he has an award we want to talk about tonight. So, Michael, why don't you go ahead and pick it up and just start where you want to.
All right. We'll go ahead and start with the award and get that one out of the way. Every year we give out what is called the Carol Perry Educator of the Year Award. This award is bestowed upon an individual who has made an outstanding contribution to educating and advancing youth in amateur radio. The award was first awarded in 2018 to its namesake, Carol Perry, WB2 MGP, in honor of her work as an educator teaching students about ham radio. So this year, Hamcation has decided to announce Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG, as the 2021 recipient of the Carol Perry Educator of the Year Award. Announced Neil Rapp,
Cool.
WB9 VPG,
And that was Neil, right?
That is Neil Rapp.
And I've got a picture here I just pulled together for Neil. Cool.
Yep.
And there he is there, looks all shined up there. That's the 2021 Carol Perry Educator of the Year Award right there. Now, this is what, your third year, I think, to do that?
It is. Actually, last year, the winner was Melissa Poor, which does a lot actually with NASA and AMSAT and ARIS with students also.
Well, that's great, and I read the write up about Neil, and he's I think a science teacher or a chemistry teacher.
Chemistry teacher.
Yeah,
correct.
and is really involved with the youth and everything. So great write up. If you guys get a chance, just look up the Carol Perry Educator of the Year Award and read all about Neil there. And Neil, of course, is busy with his stuff that he does on the internet. He's got a lot going.
Ham Talk Live, and I know this year he's been really busy with
I read
2021
the write-up
Yoda,
about Neil, and he does. He's
actually
I think a science teacher
this year,
or a chemistry teacher. Okay.
Chemistry.
And is really involved with the youth. And so this is the third year. Hey, by the way, while we're talking about this, the winter last year, I've been trying to get in touch with her. You know, I met her and talked to her, but I can't seem to get through on her email. Can you give her a email at some point and say, I'd love to have her on the show? She does so much with the space and with balloons and things, and her students. I'd like to get her on the show. And we've had Neil on before, a great guy there. What else is on your list there, Michael?
We can go over Hamcation Special Edition. Like you said, that we have had to cancel 2021 because of COVID, but we have decided to do sort of a virtual event for 2021, and it is going to be the Orlando Hamcation Special Edition, which is February 13th and 14th, 2021. Can I share my screen?
You sure can. Go right ahead.
Okay. I'd be a little faster just to go through it from the website. Like I said, the Hamcation Special Edition, February 13th, 14th, 2021. Our biggest thing that we will be doing, we will be taking all of our forums, and we're actually turning them into webinars this year. So if you... a lot of outstanding webinars. It'll be on Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. There's some excellent webinars on there. We have split them up into 4 categories: contesting, technology, vendor, and youth. But if you go to the website, all the information is up there. Almost all the webinars time slots are full. You do have to register to attend a webinar. All you have to do is click the little info button over here, which takes you to a second page. On that page, it has the full list of what the webinar is about. And once you do that, there's a register button. You just put in your email and your information. The system will send you an email letting you know how the link and all that when it starts. But please check out the webinars. And one thing that we are doing, anybody that registers and attends at least one webinar will get a free entry into our prize drawing. And we'll talk about that in a couple minutes.
All right.
All right.
So you still got things going, even though you're not going to be there. You're still going to try to do things, right?
We are. So that was one of the big things that we're doing. The other thing we are going to do is a 2021 Hamcation QSO party. Trying to get people on the air that weekend to have fun. All the rules are up on the website also. One unique thing we're going to be doing also for some bonus points for the webinar is we're going to have 9 1x1 stations around Florida. And if you contact all 9 of them, you will get an extra 100 bonus points toward the QSO party. And if you see here, the 9 of them actually spell out Hamcation with it. And this is actually being sponsored by ICOM America and the Florida Contest Group. So please check that out. And we're talking about prizes. Here's your chance to win some excellent prizes. All of our prizes has been donated. ICOM is actually one of our platinum sponsors this year for Hamcation. The Saturday grand prize will be a Yaesu 991A. It was donated by Ham Radio Outlet. And Sunday is actually the new ICOM IC705, which was donated by ICOM. About twice a week, we're still putting up prizes. You can go on here and see the whole list of prizes so far that has been donated for the event. You can also buy extra prize tickets. It will actually be a $5 donation to Orlando Hamcation. The purpose of doing this year is every year after Hamcation, we donate in a range of about $15,000 to area clubs. This money keeps those clubs going, funds their repeaters, maintenance on stuff, their activities, field days, stuff like that. And we do know by canceling Hamcation this year, this was going to hurt the local clubs also. So all the money from the extra ticket donations will be going to the clubs, is the purpose of this. Also, one other thing that we have did, you can actually buy a Hamcation 2021 limited edition lanyard. Here's the photo of the lanyard. We have limited supply of them for a $8 donation, which includes shipping. You can buy one of these lanyards. Same thing, all the proceeds from this actually goes back to being able to donate to the local clubs also, for that part of it. And one thing, this is more for local folks. Here locally, really nobody is doing amateur radio exams, so we decided to actually do amateur radio exams in person at the fairgrounds on February 14th, Sunday, from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. So if anybody locally within driving distance or in the state of Florida that needs to take an exam, please, if you go to our website, you can register for the exam. The exam is free of charge, and this could be one of your last chances to be able to get the free of charge exam before the FCC implements the $35 charge. So if you're looking to upgrade or get a new license, we are doing testing. We will be doing it in the North Hall where the prize barrel is usually set up. We can hold about 32 people testing, and they will actually be able to be separated a little over 8 foot apart per table. So nobody will be close to each other. There'll be social distancing. We'll be following all the CDC guidelines of sanitizing in between. So please, if you're looking to do a test, please come out and check it out. And the last thing I have is
show. She does so much.
Down here on the bottom of the Hamcation, you can actually subscribe to our newsletter. We don't send many of them out, but all the press releases and stuff like that about Hamcation goes out. So if you enter your email address here and subscribe, we do send out information. One thing, prize barrel is usually so to keep up to date on what's going on with Hamcation. This is a good way to do it. So please subscribe to it. And I believe, Tom, that is all I have.
Well, Michael, it looks like you guys are still going to be able to do a lot, even though you're not going to have the live event there. And we're going to really miss coming down here. We've really enjoyed being down here and being a part of it. But there'll be maybe next year. Next year, hopefully we're
already planning for next year. I can let you know a little bit about what's going on. 2022 will actually be our 75th anniversary, since it actually didn't happen this year. And it will be the ARRL National Convention, which didn't happen this year. So they've agreed to move it over to 2022. So
that's going to be that will be a big shindig down here. I mean, there's a lot of big things going on.
It will be. And I know ARL is going to bring some different type of training tracks. And one thing that was let out of the bag a little early by Tim Duffley on his little show that he does is they are bringing Contest University to Orlando Hamcation in 2022.
Well, all right. Well, that's great. We appreciate you coming in tonight and being on the show. Feel free to stick around with us. No telling where this show's going to go tonight. We've already been surprised in the first minute, so stick around and be a part of it if you want to, Michael.
All right, sounds good.
All right, man. Again, we appreciate it, man, and I hope to see you. And maybe the next year, with all those big things happening, it'll also be the year that COVID was, demolished, or whatever the word is, Yeah,
that's what we're hoping to.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much, man. All right. Let's do this real quick. While we're waiting, Doug should connect back up here in just a second. We'll be back in just a minute, guys. Just stand by. We'll be back. Ham for the holidays. ICOM's new ID52A and the IC705 give hours of fun and enjoyment working your favorite bands this holiday season. ICOM's newest handheld amateur radio is the ID52A. Larger radio, larger color display, and a louder audio. This VHF-UHF digital receiver is much more than a replacement for the ID51A. It's also a new way of communicating. The multifunction D-band D-Star transceiver supports DR mode for easy access to local repeaters based on internal GPS information. The ID52A also has Bluetooth for audio and data control. And for the first time in the amateur radio industry, you can now send photos from a connected Android device. Other features include wideband receiver with guaranteed range of 144 to 148 and 440 to 450 megahertz, integrated GPS including grid square location, a micro USB for data transfer, programming, and charge, and it's IPX7 waterproof. The ID52A is a perfect companion to the IC705. Both use compatible batteries and headsets. And you can also use the same Android app for D-Star operation. The IC705 is a perfect sidekick for hams that like to enjoy both the indoors and outdoors. It's the perfect QRP companion and covers HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at about just 2 pounds. It has a 4.3-inch touch screen with live band scope and waterfall, and you get 5 watts with the BP272, and you get 10 watts with the 13.8 volt DC. Has a micro USB connector, Bluetooth, and WLAN, integrated GPS with antenna and GPS logger, and it comes with a speaker microphone standard. The perfect accessory for the IC705 is the optional LC192 backpack. It has a special compartment for all of your accessories. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
Okay, we're back. We're still waiting on astronaut Doug Wheelock to connect with us. Hey, while we're at it, real quick, we're supposed to give away an antenna. An antenna from LDG. Here's what I need everybody to do. I need everybody to enter something in the chat room. Hit a period, hit enter, type hi, hit enter, because what that does, that refreshes the participants list in the chat room. And we're going to pick a name from the participants list. So right now it's only showing about 15 people that have been most active recently. So hit a period or something, enter something into the chat room. That will refresh the chat, and then maybe we'll pick your name. Okay, looks like people are starting to do it right there. Hey, I got a real quick call out. There's a special person on here tonight. Larry, N4USB. He checked in the net tonight, and he found out about us tonight through the net. And Larry is sitting in his easy chair right now down in North Carolina. He's got his laptop, and he's got his dog, Dolly, with him. So Dolly and Larry, hello, down in North Carolina. The city, I think it was It says Bunlevel, Bunnlevel. I don't know that, but he's in North Carolina. Hello, Larry. Hello, Dolly. Glad you joined the show. Now, we're going to be giving away a prize real quick here. So it looks like we're getting quite a few people that have refreshed and in here. Okay. Hey, Mark Pupo, he's in there. Yep. Radio Man. Yep. Everybody.
We got okay. Perth, Western Australia.
Good. Okay. Well, all right. Let's see how our participant list is looking. We still got people that are coming into the thing here. 1, 2. We got quite a few people in there right now. Quite a few.
We can hold about 32.
Okay, we're almost ready. Hambot is almost ready to pick a name here. While we're waiting, Doug should connect back up here in just a second. Man, we still got names popping up like crazy on here, man.
Oh yeah, man, that is flying by.
Yeah, we're gonna let this thing slow down. Everybody, get your name in the chat room because we're gonna pick a name from the chat room. Tonight we're gonna give away an end-fed long wire antenna by LDJ. Let's see, I've got a picture here. This is a $130 value. This is a kit. This is a end-fed long wire kit. It's worth $130. You get all the parts that you need to build this end-fed antenna. It includes the wire, 50 foot of number 20 drop ground. It says 25 foot of coax, the center insulators, the end insulators, and your balance and choke. So all that's going to be provided to you. Okay, and that is, well, we still got people hitting enter there, so let's give it just another second. We will get Hambot here. Hambot's going to give away a prize in just a minute. Now, Hambot is semi-retired, so our procedure to give out prizes is a little bit different, but Hambot, are you here? Let's see if Hambot's here. Tonight, we're going to give away an end-fed long wire antenna by LDJ. I've got a picture here. This is a $130 value. This is a kit. This is a end-fed long wire kit. It's worth $130. You get all the parts that you need. All right. Okay. So build this. Hambot is here. Doug has just joined. I think Doug's joined us. 50 foot there. Number 20. I think he is. Drop ground. It says.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
There he is. There he is. Okay, Doug. We're giving away an antenna. We're giving away a prize for somebody. We'll be through with that in about maybe less than a minute. So Hambot is going to give out a prize now. So okay, we're going to start. We're going to have Hambot pick somebody. Now Hambot is semi-retired, so our procedure to give out prizes. Doug, you guys probably have one of these on the space station. Let's see if Hambot's here.
That's pretty slick. I like that.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what's going on here. Does Hambot have a name yet? Hambot is. I got so many things going on. Has Hambot issued a name on the chat room? Did Hambot put a name out? Oh, he's about to. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Just pull my name and be done with it.
Well, we'll try, Glenn, but.
As if I need another antenna in there.
Right. You got too many antennas. I can't believe we got this many people hitting enter. It's still hitting enter. Hambot's still kind of waiting here.
I'm not seeing the chat scroll, so hang on.
You don't see the chat? It's okay. All right. Hambot has put a name out there. The name is Carolina Dipper 98. Carolina Dipper 98, are you here? We're going to give you about a minute, and if you don't claim it, Carolina, there, Carolina Dipper 98 says, hey, so Carolina just won, okay? You won a antenna from LDG, thanks to Dwayne Kincaid, and this is a cool antenna. You can see it there at bottom right there. This is a $130 end-fed long wire antenna kit. So congratulations to Carolina. Carolina, please send me an email with your information, who you are. I don't know who Carolina is on here, so send me an email. You can send it to tom@w5kub.com, or on our website you can go to contact us, but shoot us an email so we can get that prize to you. All right. Cool. Thank you, Hambot. Doug, welcome back, Doug.
Thank you, guys. Sorry. I hope Mike was able to get his talk in. Can you guys hear me okay?
We did. It worked out just about perfect there. So again, Doug, we're so pleased to have you join us tonight, and I know you're a busy guy, but you think you can make it every couple months or so? Just pop in and say hi.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Would love to. So if you're listening out there on the radio right now on WBCQ, we're talking with astronaut Doug Wheelock. He was the commander of Expedition 25. Is that right, Doug?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
And you had several other missions up there. I don't remember all of them, but you've been up a number of times. How many times have you been up in orbit?
Well, I had one short duration flight. It was a 15-day flight on the Space Shuttle Discovery. Was my first mission. Got a chance to do 3 spacewalks on that mission. And then I went up on a long duration flight on a Soyuz, up and back on a Russian Soyuz. And I was on the space station for about 6 months as the commander of the space station, and got a chance to do 3 actually emergency unplanned spacewalks on that mission, which was hopefully it would be a chapter in my book one day. It was a really amazing thrill ride, to be honest with you. And so those 2 missions, a short duration mission and a long duration mission, and now I'm training our younger group of astronauts to go back to the moon. So we're very excited about that.
So Doug, one of your missions one of your spacewalks or whatever you did, I know you had to work on the solar panels, I think, out there. Now, let me show you something. I've also been working on solar panels. Look at this. Now, this is for our next balloon flight. I was going to talk a little about that later tonight, but what you worked on was much bigger than this. There's a lot of solar cells, a lot of power, a lot of current up there. So you, being an astronaut, you got to be a little bit of everything, right? An electrician, a plumber, everything. And you don't mess with electricity unless you know what you're doing.
I'm not a real sharp master electrician for sure, but it's a funny story on that, because I to go back to the moon. For the longest time, my daughter's
Doug, one of your
ceiling fan in her room, in her bedroom, had gone bad, and so I bought a new fan. I was in my training, and the fan sat in the corner of her room in a box for a couple of months, actually. And I remember coming home one day from my getting ready for my mission as the commander on the station, and I just passed my master's certification as a master of the electrical power system and distribution system on the space station, and it was fairly intricate. It's a fairly intricate system. I remember coming home with my.
Excuse me, did they cover ceiling fans?
Yeah, well, I came home with my master. I said, check it out, I'm master of the electrical power systems on the International Space Station. And my daughter looked right at me, she goes, can we do that ceiling fan tonight, Dad? So,
oh, man. I hate ceiling fans. I hate them.
Yeah. They're real.
But you know what?
Just telling gravity makes the thing all real complicated. So.
Yeah, holding the weight of it up and trying to connect the wires. But seeing this out in space, so it'd be weightless. You ought to be pretty good with that.
Yeah, everything's weightless or without noticeable, but everything still has mass, and so you have to be really careful with because F still equals ma in space, even so you have to be really careful moving around outside as well.
Well, hey, tell us about the solar panels. How much power is there? How many amps you can get out of those things, or watts?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised when we the electrical grid is a 160 volts direct current DC power, and those big arrays. the only place that they are able to shunt or control the electrical charge is in the base of those arrays. And so even though it's flopping out there, in our case, it was we had a tear along one of the hinge lines, and even though it wasn't fully deployed, and there were some torn panels, it still was collecting solar energy and producing electrical current, and sending it down through the current strip that's on the side of the. And as we were going out to do that array, to fix that array, we had to essentially sew up the solar array with cabling and some sheet metal we had found. We made essentially cufflinks out of this cable that we found inside the space station. And then we went out and essentially put 5 sutures in that solar array to get it deployed. But the scariest moment, I think, and because I had no idea, I was sort of naive to the amount of current coming through the power strip, and but I was going to be operating with we had a 90-degree needle nose pliers that was going to. The problem that caused the tear in the array was a frayed wire, a guide wire. And so our initial steps, I was going to grab the bottom of the wire and pinch it with these needle nose pliers. And about 40 feet above me, 40, 50 feet above me on the array, Scott was going to cut the fray out of the wire, the rat's nest that had formed on the fray. And we were just going to take that guide wire out of the equation so we could extend the array. And so, but it has a retractable reel that's at the bottom of the array that retracts that cable, and it's a steel cable. It retracts it at 10 feet per second, which is a pretty strong retraction tension, on the cable. And so before we went outside, they said, "Hey, make sure you hold on to that cable, because if it starts zipping down that solar array, it's going to tear the bottom half of the array and could flop off and essentially tear through your suit." I was like, "Holy crap!" I was like, "So I better hang on to that thing." Yeah. And unfortunately, the needle nose pliers, which are metal, was about this far, about 2 to 3 inches away from the power strip, which is carrying 210 amps of current at 160 volts DC power. So I was sweating bullets out there with operating that close to the array. So.
Well, those pliers wouldn't have lasted long if 210 went through them. So.
I was thinking to myself the whole time. I was thinking to myself, now what's going to happen? Am I going to be just like kind of like become part of this array, or what's going to happen with it when
the pliers probably would. They would probably been out there forever, man. Yeah. Well, look, hey,
what the dark astronaut.
Yeah, that's right.
What a
I probably would have lit up like a Christmas tree there.
That's a neat story. Now, Doug, over the years we've talked about a lot of these things, but we've got a lot of new viewers here that haven't heard these stories. But you're as I mentioned, you had to be a jack of all trades there and a master of all of them, actually. So, electrician, a plumber, doctor. I mean, weren't you the medical guy? I mean, tell us about how do you get trained to be a medical guy?
Every mission we have, we appoint someone to be the chief medical officer for the mission. This was a 6-month mission, and I was going to be the commander. And normally, we do have a lot of MDs, a lot of medical doctors that are in the astronaut program, both in the U.S. and our Russian partners and our European partners as well. And so they normally, if there's an MD on the flight, they'll assign that person as the chief medical officer. We didn't have an MD. We had a couple of engineers, a couple of life scientists, and they said, "Well, you drew the short straw. You're going to be the commander, so you need to be the chief medical officer." So they put me through 3 weeks only of training down at Herman Memorial Hospital in Houston at the Level 1 Trauma Center in Houston. I spent 3 weeks on 12-hour shifts being supervised by the trauma surgeons there and a NASA surgeon, learning how to suture, how to remove an appendix, how to do a catheter, draw blood, of course, it was how to operate the tricorder. Baptism by fire.
Yeah. So, Doug, do you think if you had someone had an appendicitis attack, were you prepared to take it out up there?
Yes. I mean, I had to be able to feel confident that I could do that if for some reason we couldn't get back to Earth in time.
And you have all the tools you need, and
yes, we do have a full set of
operating tools,
equipment on board the station. We have a little operating table. We have so we have it all up there. And I was kind of hoping, gosh, I hope I don't have to. And I told my crew when I got finished with my trauma training and I got my certification. And then, of course, we have telemedicine. We have a lot of doctors on the Earth that we're working with as over video conferencing and telemedicine and things like that. But I said to my crew members, 3 of which who were Russian cosmonauts, and I said, okay, here's the deal, guys. It's like, I'm your doctor on board, so it behooves you all to stay healthy and stay safe, So.
All right, so I want to move on now to one of the other jobs you had. Let's talk about plumbing. Now, my understanding, if anybody watches The Big Bang TV show, we know who invented the toilet for the space station.
I think that was Fruit Loop, wasn't it?
That was Fruit Loops. And I want to talk about the call signs again here in a minute. But I remember that, Fruit Loops. So Fruit Loops invented this toilet, but you had to be, you volunteered to be the plumber one time just to get out of some chores, I think.
Yeah, that's right. I was up there in my 6-month mission. We were about a week and a half in, a couple weeks in, and I was up there. I had the good fortune of being there. The 2 other U.S. astronauts were 2 brilliant women PhD scientists. Shannon Walker, who's up there now, PhD in science, and Tracy Caldwell Dyson, who is also a PhD in life sciences, and both brilliant. And I'm an engineer by trade and a pilot, so when I had my hands inside the glove box doing any kind of scientific research, I was, again, sweating bullets, just hoping I was kind of, I felt like I had, 10 thumbs trying to do the science. And Shannon came to me one day and she said, hey, the potty's broken. And I said, well, we got to fix the potty. She said, if you fix the potty, I'll do all of your science for the rest of the day. I said, that's a deal. And so we did the, floating high five, and I went off to do I grabbed my toolkit and called Houston and said, Houston, we have a problem, and pulled the panels off and did what we refer to as the dumpster dive back behind the potty. And it took me about 90 minutes to fix the potty, but I figured out in that 90 minutes that if you're on a spaceship, like trapped on a spaceship, and you can fix the potty, you're like Lord of the universe. That's
right. Surely though, you have a backup potty, right?
We do. We do now. We have a potty in the Russian segment, so we do have 2 potties on board the station.
Okay, well, that's great. You mentioned Fruit
Loops. They also have the door outside. You can just go there.
We do have the outhouse, Glenn. That's right. And, so.
I bet it's pretty cold when you open that little door there and you sit down on it right there. But anyway. So you mentioned Fruit Loops a minute ago, and that gets me to your call sign, your name that you go by. Now, Doug, you're a superhero, man. You're an astronaut. You're a hero. You're a manly man and all that. But I understand you almost got a bad call sign in the beginning. You want to tell us what it was?
Yeah, I've got a couple of them that I didn't really like, and one of them that I got was Flambeau, and that's a long story I'll tell on another call. But, but I got a chance to do that solar array repair spacewalk with Scott Parazynski, and Scott If you, he's kind of legendary at NASA. He flew 5 space missions. He has summited Everest. He's a medical doctor, and he is just he was a Olympic luge athlete as well. At the Calgary Olympics, he was on the U.S. luge team. And so the guy is like superhuman, right? And so it was my first space flight when we were training, and everybody was getting these cool call signs except for me. It was always usually something a little bit derogatory, you know, that you know, from a mistake I made or something, you know, and so we were in the water one day practicing. We practiced our spacewalks underwater, and we were practicing actually. We thought we might have some issues with this solar array because I had seen that fray in that guide wire back a few months earlier when they retracted the array. And so we were in the water, and our EVA team, our EVA lead, Dina Cantella, who is now a flight director at NASA, which is really pretty cool. But she was our lead, sort of our choreographer for our spacewalk. And so we're underwater and she's up in the control room, and it's like Scott can do no wrong. And so they'd say like, Wheels, just watch Scott do it. And I would ask too many questions, you know, and they said, just move out of the way and let Scott do it. Watch him and then do it exactly like him, you know. So, and I could hear them laughing in the control room and everything. And you could see the divers, the safety divers laughing and everything. And so this one we were going to do, Scott's a little bit taller than I am. And so Dina came over the PA system in the water, and she said, okay, she said, Wheels, move out of the way and let Scott do this first. And you just watch him and do it exactly like him. I said, okay. And she said, we're going to put Scott in that foot restraint, and we'll have him use his long beefcake arms and to reach out and grab that guide wire, you know. And you could hear everybody laughing, including Scott. And Dina said, okay, new call sign for Scott. We're going to call him Beefcake, you know. And you could see the divers laughing. And I was like, why does he always get the cool call signs, you know? And I said, hey, how come Scott always gets the cool call signs? And without skipping a beat, Dina said, okay, we'll call you Cupcake. So we had Beefcake and Cupcake.
Oh man!
For our spacewalk up in space. So I could never shake the Cupcake, and to this day, some of the folks at NASA call me Commander Cupcake. So
is that right? I didn't know they were calling you that. But yeah, that's a funny story there, Cupcake. Oh man,
It's almost as bad as Fruit Loops, I guess.
Yeah, bad as Fruit Loops there, you know. And he wanted to be Rocket Man, but he was Fruit Loops. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I noticed someone mentioned coffee in the chat room earlier. You guys got a saying up there about coffee, I think. It's something about today's coffee.
I've got my coffee mug here too. You could hopefully you can see this, but it's let me move it over so you can.
Yeah, let's see it.
0G and I feel fine from John Glenn. So
okay.
Yeah. So I love coffee. I don't know if you guys love coffee, but I'm kind of I probably have a coffee problem. I drink so much coffee, but on the station we have a saying that yesterday's coffee is tomorrow's coffee. So we recycle everything on board the space station, including our water. We recapture sweat. We recapture our urine, and it's put through a water purifier, and we end up consuming that water as well.
Well, that is that's very interesting. You know, Doug, I knew Owen Garriott, and I was talking to him one time about that. I said, Owen, how do you know that the machine you've got that filters that water where you're drinking it, how do you know it's working? And I said, does it taste funny? And I was trying to make a joke with him, and boy, he came into a real scientific explanation, and he told me 10 different engineering ways that water is safe and it's purified. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just accepted it, but I thought, like, well, I'm stuck here, so.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's kind of like, what choice do you have? I want my coffee, therefore I'm willing to take the risks.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh, man. So ham radio seems getting more active up there the past few months. There's been a lot more of activity with a lot of the astronauts now. And also they're putting the radio in a slow scan TV mode or a packet mode where people can actually receive pictures from up there. So that's real good. But I don't know of anybody that operated ham radio more than you. Maybe Richard Garriott did. Maybe he made like 1 million contacts, but he wasn't up there very long. But I think he was just up there to make ham calls, to tell you the truth. I don't know.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So you've flown up on both. Let's say you've flown on the shuttle and you've come back on the Soyuz, right?
Soyuz, that's
so
correct.
you've got experience on both of those. Which one? And I know the shuttle now has been retired. So, but which one did you like the best?
The shuttle, of course, but it actually had there were some interesting surprises in both vehicles. Launch and then landing, of course, coming back through the atmosphere is an interesting ride in any spaceship you come back in, but a much different experience from the space shuttle to a capsule type design. And so, and the beauty of the space shuttle, which is pretty much it was a winged spaceship, and it was just light years beyond its time. And then, after we flew so many missions in it, and then we retired it, of course. And so there are 3 shuttles that flew in space that are retired at different museums. So one at the LA Science Center, that's Endeavour is out there. Discovery is at the Smithsonian, out at the Air and Space Museum at Dulles Field, and in DC, outside of DC. And then Atlantis is down at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Center complex in Florida. And so if you get a chance to be in any one of those areas and get a chance to look at those shuttles, I suggest that I would encourage you to do that. It's quite an amazing machine. But the launch on the space shuttle was actually way more violent than I ever anticipated, but it all kind of makes sense to me now when I look at I was a test pilot by trade, and so I was kind of ready for anything, and when you do any kind of flying, especially test flying, a lot of your sensory reaction and human in the loop reaction, the way you interface with the vehicle, a lot of that comes from seat of the pants type, the feel, you hear that, listen for the sounds, you look for lights and cautions, and you listen to vibrations and feel how the vehicle is moving. And what I didn't really consider, but now when I think about it, it's so very simple with physics, but you remember the space shuttle had that external tank, and then the 2 solid rocket boosters on the side of the tank, and then turning it sideways, we just kind of put the shuttle on the side of the tank, and so it was, and the roll axis is about this tank, and so your body is sitting about 20-25 feet from the center of the roll axis, and so when that vehicle would roll, you feel like you're on the end of a merry-go-round being spun around, and then the vibration is quite dramatic. Coming back home in the shuttle was very smooth, and as we burn through the atmosphere, we do a lot of braking turns, a lot of heat. You could see the orange glow outside the windows, a little bit of a buffet, but it was mostly kind of a lateral buffet where everything was just kind of shaking in a vibrational mode. And then we come through the atmosphere and land like a glider. And so it was pretty smooth coming back through. Soyuz exactly the opposite. The sitting on top of a Soyuz rocket and then launching, the thrust vector is right up through the seat of the pants. And so you feel a good kick as you come off the pad and pretty good acceleration on that rocket, but it's all kind of down through your chest, so there's not a lot of lateral. There's a little bit of wag, like a tail wag. You can feel the rocket wagging a little bit. But other than that, it's pretty smooth. You may have watched a Soyuz launch on NASA TV, and they're all waving at the camera and things like that. It's very smooth inside. Coming back home, exactly the opposite. And so I like to kid that coming back home in a Soyuz capsule and burning back through the atmosphere is kind of like going over Niagara Falls in a barrel, only the barrel's on fire. So it's quite a ride. So
yeah. Well, I've looked at a lot of the pictures. I was trying to pull one up here, but I can't find it right now. You guys in a Soyuz coming down, you guys are quite packed in here. It looks like you got packing all around you, and you don't move around much, do you?
You don't, and you don't have much room at all. And I had a window seat. I was in the right side. Actually, the right and left. There are 3 seats, kind of side by side. The commander of the Soyuz, which has been always a Russian cosmonaut, sits down sort of in the middle seat. He or she is kind of recessed into that middle seat, and then the 2 other crew members sit up, sort of like angled up to the side, following the kind of the whole line of the capsule, and then each the left and right seat have a window. So I had a pretty incredible window seat coming back. My eyes were, if someone could look inside that window and see as it was coming back through the atmosphere, they probably would have seen my face looking out the window like this.
Oh, yeah.
Eyes as big as dinner plates,
Wow, man.
But man, there are those of us that give our left arm to be able to do that.
I know you would.
Oh man,
I know you would. It's quite an amazing experience, and now these last few years, I'm training people to go, and I'm kind of getting to the end of my operational. I hope to go again. I don't know if I'll get a chance to, but there's a lot of joy and a lot of reward in training others to get ready for this, and because I can kind of reflect back and see myself and remembering those times when I was just nervous and fearful, and it was always good to have a seasoned veteran kind of talk you through what you're going to see and feel and experience. So.
Well, you guys have brought on a lot of new astronauts, I guess, since you've been in, right? Since you joined.
Yeah, we have. Gosh, it's gone by so fast. It's like, it seems like just yesterday. Of course, I'm sure you guys in your professions feel that way as well. It's like, hey, wait a second, I was just like 18, and so yeah, we have but I started as an astronaut in August of 1998, so I've been an astronaut for 22 years, which is just blows my mind. But yeah, we've got a lot of great new astronauts coming along the way. Just really smart people. When I'm working with a lot of these guys and gals, I think to myself, man, I'm so glad I got in under the wire when I did, because I don't know if I could compete with these guys, So, but it's been really fun, and I'm working on a cool new project now. We're going back to the moon, and our marching orders are boots on the moon in 2024. So I'm trying to figure out how we properly train people to land a craft on the moon, and then get out and do spacewalks on the surface and everything, using today's technology to be able to train, have both fixed-base mock-ups, full motion-based simulation, and then like some sort of flying craft that we could put people in that can replicate the dynamics of the lunar environment. And so I'm going to be test flying a new vehicle here coming up this summer. And I'm currently sitting in Ohio at our home here in Ohio. As I've been on a detail with at the NASA Glenn Research Center near Cleveland. It actually shares the airport with the Cleveland airport, and west of there is the Plumbrook Station facility, which is now actually just been renamed, I think about a week ago, to the Neil Armstrong test facility. And so we are looking at, and NASA Glenn is the center of excellence for NASA for electrified aircraft propulsion. And so we are looking at all electric airplanes to be able to have a in-flight trainer, much like the lunar lander training vehicle that we had back in Apollo. And we built 5 of those things, and 3 of them had to be ejected from, and then ended up smoking holes at Ellington Field in Houston. And so the 2 that are left, one is on display in at Johnson Space Center in Houston, and the other one is out at the Air Force Flight Test Museum out at Edwards Air Force Base. But we're looking at, it's called eVTOL. It's electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. And we're looking at all the different battery technology, and it's essentially a flying car. And so we're going to be right on the leading edge of that technology. And the real interesting thing, Tom, that I wanted to mention to you is that we're going to be doing our testing out of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the Air Force Research Lab right there in Dayton. And so I'm going to be down flying out of Springfield Airport, just east of Dayton, and out of Wright-Patterson. So when the Hamvention gets fired back up in Dayton, I'll be right there with you.
Well, we'll be sure to have a spot for you there. You know, Doug, you're talking about now the new technology that you're looking at for this. Back when Apollo went up, that was pretty crude technology back then. I mean, the computer was like a gift card or something. I mean, it wasn't much.
Yeah.
I don't see how they did it.
I can't even imagine. As I was going through, we just did a months-long feasibility study looking at different concepts, and I kept thinking back, because one of the what we used as a baseline is taking those old LLTVs. You could just Google the LLTV, and you'll see pictures and things on there. The Lunar Lander Training Vehicle, and then there was a LLRV, which is a Lunar Lander Research Vehicle, and you take a look at those, and Neil Armstrong actually punched out of one of them. If you got a chance to read Neil's story, you know, his story in the movie was the First Man, and I'm just now reading through the book First Man, and looking at his experiences with the LLTV, because we did get some feedback from Neil on that back about 15 years ago or so, when we talked to all the Apollo astronauts about this. And so one of the things we did, we sent the folks at Langley off to take a look. Take a look at the way the LLTV operated back during Apollo, and tell me what it's going to cost and what the technology risks are to just build it with modern technology. And just looking at that was just amazing to watch our engineers kind of peel through how that thing was designed, and how simple it was, but how like revolutionary it was at the time. You know, it was really the first fly-by-wire vehicle, you know, where you move a control stick that through an electrical impulse, you know, moved fired rocket thrusters and things like that.
I just did a quick search. This is probably not even it. This is not what we're talking about, is it?
No, that's not what we're talking about. Yeah. But let me see if I can. Well, I'll
awesome.
Next time I'll give you a talk about our feasibility study.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Well, I was a child of that era and saw every launch and every flight, and oh man, I mean, it was wonderful to see all that.
Yeah, it was what a time to be alive, huh? I mean, it's just
it really was.
It's really incredible.
I mean, Doug, I know you classified yourself as one of the NASA old-time geezers, but you're still a pretty young guy. You were a young guy when we went to the moon. I think you talked about watching it on TV, I believe.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me see if I can. Am I able to share my screen?
You sure can.
Okay, let me see if I can pull this up and let's do. I want to share. Let's do. I don't want to do my entire screen. I want to do.
Oh, come on. Let's see all the NASA secrets.
Well, it looks like in addition to being a master electrician, you're also a master Zoom person here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the UFO files on that other screen. We want them.
Yeah.
But
can you see my screen?
No.
Yeah, I'm seeing.
Oh,
there you go. That's it.
Yeah. Got it.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's the. Can you see that?
Yeah,
picture?
I saw
Yes.
that. I saw some of the tests, I think, where they ejected out of it or maybe or something.
Yeah, that's the LL TV, which is the Lunar Lander Training Vehicle. We built 3 of these, and there were 2 ejections out of those 2 vehicles. There's 1 left, and it's on display at a building in kind of a museum piece on the ceiling. It's actually displayed on the ceiling of one of the buildings at Johnson Space Center in Houston. And then we built the 2 of the LLRVs. But anyway, that's let me stop sharing here and see if I can. I hope I didn't mess anybody's screen up. So okay.
So, but I don't see you. You're not there.
Okay, let me see what happened to me there. I stopped sharing. Do I need to?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go. Yeah. Okay, let me do cancel that and just turn the camera back on.
Yeah, Zoom gets a little quirky sometimes.
Yeah, we usually do. Do you guys see me? I don't see me, but
looks like you're in the darkness. Looks
there
like
you
you're
are.
in the darkness of outer space. There you are. You came in here. Well, I see. If I had been doing that during the show, Doug, I'd been panicking right now because everybody's watching. But
no, he can do it appendix. There is no need for him to panic.
Yeah, you got that coolness.
Tom, we could put a man on the moon, but we can't. We can't project our screen.
Well, I was going to say you got that coolness where nothing seems to bother you, and that kind of reminds me of one of the Apollo missions when they were going to take off from the moon and go back. The switch was broken to blast off. Now, how would you feel, Doug, if you were on the moon and you're ready to come home now and your switch is broken?
You gotta figure out how MacGyver would do it. You know, you just gotta, you have to.
I think he used the ballpoint pen or something to trip it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All you do is you open up that drawer that says paper clips.
That's right.
You've got one of those locks on it. You open that and you're set to go anywhere.
Yeah, Doug, tell us, I would imagine, I'm guessing that you guys have duct tape up there.
Oh, yeah.
Do you use it a lot?
Yeah, lots and lots of duct tape on the station.
They got duct tape. They got a 3D printer, okay? They can do anything.
All right. Well,
before too long, I imagine we'll be 3D printing duct tape, maybe. So I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know how you get the sticky on there, but that's cool. Now, tell us a little about the space station there. It's getting pretty old, man. Does that thing leak any? You got any leaks in it?
Oh goodness, it leaks like a sieve. Not really, but we have experienced over the last several months a leak. You probably may have seen in the press. We've been trying to track down a leak, and we think we've identified the module it's in. It's one of the older sort of docking adapters in the Russian segment, and so I think it's just sort of past its useful life, and so we just make do with what we have. We do have leak sealing. Interestingly enough, since the station has been going sort of continually inhabited by humans for 20 years now. We just went over the 20-year mark, and fortunately, the unfortunate thing is all of that technology up there is 20, 30 years old, and but all the technology we use to fix it is modern technology. And so our leak detection and leak sealing materials and things like that are newer materials. And so we've been able to kind of hobble along with the modern technology, how to detect and
assume it's not a bucket full of Flex Seal.
Well, Flex Seal might do it.
Isn't that? I'm thinking to myself, when I see that guy on TV with that Flex Seal, I'm thinking like, let's just ship up a couple of gallons of that stuff and just kind of paste the wall of that module.
And Doug, another thing, it takes you back to like refrigeration. These refrigeration guys, heating and air guys, you could put red dye, all inside, and you can look out the window and see kind of where that red dye is leaking, and that would help you find the leak.
You could do that, I suppose.
Yeah,
I suppose you could do that.
I'm not sure, but
we do. They actually discovered one of the cracks, and this is very interesting. All the excuse me, we have an ultrasonic leak detector up there. It's kind of with the headphones, and you just kind of wave this wand to try to listen for the leak path. And the way they found it is that they could hear it inside of this little adapter. One of the Russians took a tea bag and took some crushed up tea leaves and just kind of floated them in the middle of and they watched which direction they went, and they went right to where that crack was. It took them a little while, but all those tea leaves went to the crack.
So that's interesting. So Doug, is there some way to make oxygen up there, or do you have to carry the oxygen up? I mean, you're talking about it leaking out, so how you do that?
Yeah, we do carry oxygen with us. We have storage tanks of oxygen on the outside of the space station that's plumbed inside. We also have a device up there called the Electron, and we have another one that's called Sabatier that takes water. Sometimes when we have we produce a lot of water on the shuttle. We produced a lot of water out of as a byproduct out of our fuel cells that were on the space shuttle. But on the space station, we have a lot of water that we're recapturing that we put into this Electron, and it cracks it apart, and we have hydrogen gas and oxygen to breathe. We pump the oxygen back in the cabin, and most of the hydrogen we vent overboard, but we also have experiments that use hydrogen as a fuel, and so we or a component of the experiment, so we can also kind of plumb that hydrogen over to one of the experiments as well. So we make good use of every drop of water and every molecule of oxygen as well.
Well, that's cool. Hey,
there's a question in the chat room there. Yeah. Is there an end of life date for the space station? Great question.
I think originally, when we were thinking of launching this, I think the station was going to stay on orbit until 2010. This is back in 1990, and stay in orbit till 2010. And 2010 is when I flew my commandership mission. And so here we are, 2020 and 2021, and the life of the station has been extended to 2025 now, with the anticipation that we'll get further extension out to around 2030, something like that. So, like I said, the technology that we have up there is old technology that's very robust, it's very reliable, but it is aging and being weathered by the radiation, of course, outside, and there is corrosion from atomic oxygen that's off-gassing and things. And so things break from time to time and go bad from time to time. So where the technology advancement comes into play is in detection of those faults and repair and replacement of those that hardware as well.
It's kind of like the B-52. They're over 50 years old.
Yes, there you go.
Still upgrading them. They may be flying at 100 years old. I don't know. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And there's young kids right now. I'll call them kids in the Air Force flying the B-52 that's as old as a grandparent of theirs. So
Yeah.
Let me make a quick announcement here. If you're listening out there on International Shortwave, we're talking to NASA astronaut Douglas Wheelock. He's with us tonight, and it's been a great conversation about ham radio and space and all the things going on up here. Let's see. We got Bill coming in. Let me admit Bill.
And Tom, I didn't want to. I know I'm horning in on your time, so when you if you need to get back to your agenda items, I certainly can bow out and rejoin at another meeting.
I think everybody will agree you are the agenda tonight. You're the person here. We got Bill Brown.
They can see us anytime, man. They don't get to see you that much.
Where's Bill? Bill, you there?
He's working on it.
He's working on it. We got Bill Brown, a friend of mine that does our balloons with us, and he works for NASA down in Huntsville.
Hey, Bill.
Where's Bill?
He's still connecting his audio.
He's still working. He's still working on it. Well, Doug, hey, Hamvention is gone. I still want to get you down to the Huntsville Ham Fest with us some year, man. You're going to have to plan for that. And
I definitely will do that. Do you think? I have the feeling that May might be out for. Have they already called?
They've already announced it. Hamvention is canceled.
Okay.
Huntsville is in August. I don't know if they'll make it or not, but we'll see.
Okay.
And you did a lot of your flying, didn't you, down at Redstone Arsenal down there?
I did. I flew in the Army for a number of years. I did a lot of flying out of Redstone and down at Fort Rucker, Alabama, down in L.A., Lower Alabama. We used to call it LA. And so I spent a lot of time down there in Huntsville.
Redstone Arsenal, and hey, you got NASA there in Huntsville.
Marshall Space Flight Center's there, yeah.
You ought to be able to figure out a way to get a business trip down there in August, you know?
Absolutely. Well, you know, I'm working on this, the lunar lander, and so it's the new program is the HLS program. It's the Human Lander System program. And it's actually it's out of Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville. So our program office that I'm working for is out of Marshall. So I definitely will be down there when we get back to traveling in a normal fashion. I'm sure I'll be spending a lot of time down in Huntsville.
And Doug, I work at Marshall, and we look forward to having you there. I work on the SLS avionics. So,
perfect.
And we'll have to have you do a reprise of your balloon launch when you do come back to Huntsville.
I would love to do that. You probably remember my first one, Bill. It was a little scary when we trying to get that thing off the ground. But
hey guys, look, let me tell you something. That was fun. Doug, I thought, what's the best way to get a balloon up in this contest? It's to have an astronaut launch it, you know? So,
no pressure, right?
I'm not going to talk bad about you, Doug, but everybody else's balloon went up, and you launched. In the first launch, it wrapped around an RV mirror.
It did.
And in the second launch, I've got the video. It's so funny. The second launch we're watching it, and it wraps around a power line, but. And I see you put your hands on your head like, oh no. And then I see you going like this. I'm going, what's going on? What's going on? And it freed itself, man.
It freed itself and it went up. And I think did we get out over?
It went out over the
Atlantic. Out over the Atlantic, and I think our fate was similar to the Titanic, I believe.
Yeah.
In a similar area as the Titanic, we went down.
This was all your fault.
Well,
this man can remove an appendix. He can fix, plumbing on the space station. Right. You didn't give him a training class on how to launch a balloon.
That's right.
All right. Well, Doug, this one right here went around the world 3.5 times.
That's awesome.
And we're going to try to launch another one probably in the next week to 10 days, and we hope to stay up a long time. That was up 72 days, by the way.
I have a question, Doug. I do a lot of videos, Zoom sessions with student groups, and I give a slideshow about the SLS rocket and the Artemis lunar missions. I wondered, have you been involved in training the new group of lunar astronauts for the Artemis program? And how would we contact you? Are you available to talk to any student groups when I give a talk about the SLS rocket?
Absolutely, yes to all of those. And Bill, and I'm actually running the for the HLS program, which is there at Huntsville, headquartered there at Huntsville. I'm chairing what they call the JTP, the Joint Test Panel, for the 3 providers. We have 3 providers right now that are we're actually in the blackout period now, so I can't say a lot about the providers, but there are 3 companies that are vying for to build the lunar lander: SpaceX, Dynetics out of Huntsville, and Blue Origin, which is the Jeff Bezos company based out of Seattle. And those 3 companies now are in a horse race to get this contract. It'll be announced probably sometime early March. And I'm chairing the Joint Test Panel now to build that lander. And so it's great fun. And so I spend a lot of time. Right now I'm up near NASA Glenn because we're doing a lot of our initial research and some propulsion testing up here at NASA Glenn. So I've been up here and kind of shuttling between here and Houston. And then once we get past this COVID thing, I'll be joining you down there in Huntsville, Bill. So yes, I do connections with students of all ages and kids of all ages, and anytime. And I think I can put in the chat. Or Tom, could you pass my email address?
I will do that. I'll send it to
phone number to Bill for me.
Yeah, I'll do it.
And
you're
Bill,
you're on the NASA mailing list, right? Because
I'm on NASA Global as well. Yeah. So just
so I'll just email you from my NASA email.
Okay. I think I'm the only Wheelock in there.
What's that? Go ahead.
I think I'm the only Wheelock in there, but if not, it's Doug Wheelock. So.
Well, there are a lot of Bill Browns. So.
Yeah.
I noticed that Plumbrook, I'm sure you've been to that facility in Ohio. They have like the world's largest vacuum chamber. It's unbelievable. They just changed their name, and you might mention the name change for Plumbrook.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bill, for that. The Plumbrook Station facility is an amazing part of the NASA Glenn Research Center. And like Bill had mentioned, there's world-class, one-of-a-kind test chambers out at Plumbrook Station, and one of which is the only real hypersonic wind tunnel on the planet. And then we've got an in-space propulsion facility where we can actually put a spaceship in a vacuum chamber and light the engines. If you can imagine the technology and engineering that goes behind a test cell that's pulled to vacuum and still be able to fire propulsive engines. Like Bill was mentioning, just within the last week or so, the Plumbrook Station facility out near Sandusky, Ohio, about 50 miles west of Cleveland, has been renamed to the Neil A. Armstrong Test Facility. So it's very, very exciting time for Glenn Research Center. And of course, both John Glenn and Neil Armstrong are native sons of the state of Ohio. And of course, Ohio is the birthplace of aviation. So we're very proud of that facility and the renaming of that facility as well. So.
And I'm from Ohio. I grew up in Findlay, Ohio, not far from Wapakoneta, which is the hometown of Neil Armstrong. Hometown
of Neil Armstrong. That's right. So, it'd be fun to one of these days during a Hamvention to get a bunch of us, Tom, and take a drive up the road to Wapakoneta.
We can do that.
That'd be fun.
We can do that. Now, you went up to the NASA Glenn probably a couple years ago, and I thought you were only going to be up there 6 months. You must have liked it so much.
Well, I really liked it. Well, Kelly's from here. My wife is from Ohio, and her mom and dad live about 35 minutes from us, and so it's very nice. And actually, I'm originally from the Northeast, and so I had spent a little over 20 years in Houston, and I like Houston. It's a great place to live. It's a wonderful place to work. It never really felt like home to me, I think, because of the sort of the seasonal changes and things that I missed about being home. And I'm originally from upstate New York, and so to be closer to my mom and closer to Kelly's parents, I decided to take a rotational detail up here at NASA Glenn, and for 6 months I was the director of aeronautics for strategy. So I was working a lot of aeronautics research and innovation in aeronautics and sort of I was working revolutionary vertical lift technology. So we were looking at all different kinds of really cool flying machines. And I did that for 6 or so months. And then I was the director of safety and mission assurance out at Plumbrook Station for our testing out there for about 8 months. And then COVID hit, and my plan to be the director of strategy for NASA up here kind of fell off to the side a little bit, and they called me back home to Houston, and they said, "How would you like to lead us back to the moon?" I said, "I'll do that. I'd like to do that." So they made me chair of the. I was reassigned back to I'm actually back in the active astronaut office, but on detail to the Human Lander System program, and so I'm working a lot of the research on the flight vehicle up here from Glenn Research Center, but also working with the other NASA research centers to develop the landers and develop a in-flight trainer to train on the lander.
So you were a test pilot. You've flown a lot of different things here. Isn't there some special NASA plane? There's only 2 in the world. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Is that something you can talk about or not talk about?
Yeah. So actually, it's got an interesting history. The WB-57 is actually older than I am, and so. But a lot of times when we think of NASA, I got my badge here, so let's see right here. So when we think of NASA, we usually, when the greater American public thinks of NASA, we think of little n, little a, big S, little a, because we always think about space. But aeronautics is the first A in NASA, and of course all of us that do space flight owe our gratitude to the pioneers that came before us in aeronautics. Starting with the early pioneers, and then of course those crazy brothers that had a bicycle shop in Dayton that said like, one day we're going to fly like birds, and everybody laughed them off out of the room. And here we are, and so I got a chance to fly. When I came back from space in 2010, I was still active duty in the military as a test pilot in both fixed and rotary wing. And so I was grounded because my eyes were damaged from the long duration flight, from radiation and some other issues that were on board. We had on board. My vision was damaged, and so I was grounded from flying with NASA, but could fly airplanes. And so I signed up for 3 tours of duty in Afghanistan. So I spent the good part of 2011 and 2012 in Afghanistan as a commander over there of what we call as a ISR task force. It's a intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance task force. And so I spent a good bit of time over there in Afghanistan flying a interesting machine the WB-57. There's only 2 of them flying in the world, and NASA has both of them. And we were using it for high altitude reconnaissance. So that's about all I can say about it.
Yeah, I understand. That's a cool story there. Well, Doug, I don't want to keep you just all night, man. I mean, we could talk to you all night, but I feel honored that you were able to, carve out some time for us tonight and meet with us and come on the show.
My pleasure. I'll go ahead and sign off and let you guys talk about other agenda items, but I do appreciate you letting me join you. And Tom, let's stay connected, and I'd love to join you for future meetings. Just to even pop in, and Bill, let's connect on email, and what I'll probably do is call in somebody from Houston to help us out with scheduling and things like that, with different schools and groups of students and things like that. So.
I have a school in Australia that would like to talk to an astronaut, and I'm going to give a talk about the SLS rocket. I work in SMA actually here on the SLS rocket.
Very cool.
And
Very
you
cool.
won't believe how many of my coworkers they have a hard time knowing the full definition of the acronym NASA. That's
You're right.
One of the things I do is I go through all the documents we produce, and I look at the acronym list, and it is often misspelled. They call it the National Aeronautical and Space Association, and all kinds of things like that. So that's always a good trivia question, to see who can know the exact definition of what NASA means.
Right.
All right.
And yeah.
I'm sorry. I was going to say thank you again, man. And we want to have you on again maybe in a month or two if you can swing the time. And hey, if you want to just drop in like this, that's fine. We're always welcome to have you in here, man. You're special for our group.
Well, I love working with you guys, and it's been a real blessing. And I'm starting to really appreciate the simple things in life these days. And so I really appreciate you guys, and I treasure your friendship, and I learn more and more every hamvention I come to. And so one of these days I'm going to upgrade my ticket, to be a little bit higher level. I feel kind of like the private first class when I join up with you guys,
Well, let me say this. All of us here probably outrank you in ham radio as far as license, but you outrank us because you're an astronaut. That's
I appreciate that.
No, anybody that can clean and fix a toilet in space should be given an automatic extra.
Absolutely. I think there should be some kind of medal or something for that.
Exactly.
A medal made from one of those potty cans, that I had to fix.
I mean, that's just the true definition of taking one for the team.
Yeah. So, Doug, you need to get back down and make another trip to St. Jude. Your room upstairs your room is ready for you if you want to come back.
Absolutely.
And,
let's.
Hey, if you and Kelly want to come back, we'll take care of you. You can have You have your choice of a truck or a car, okay?
Okay.
I'll let you have your choice, whichever one you want,
Does the handheld ham come with it?
The truck has radios in it, so you can take that one there. And hey, say hello to Kelly for us.
I will.
We miss her, and thanks again for being with us tonight, man. We really enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you, guys. Please, everyone stay safe, healthy, and happy, and we'll talk soon, okay? Thank you.
73, Doug. Great to meet you.
Take care, Doug.
On tonight.
73 is you guys. See ya.
73. All right, guys. We've been talking with astronaut Doug Wheelock from NASA, and a great friend of ours, and we've known him for a number of years now. And every time we talk to him, it's just more exciting. It's just the stories. Man, it's just unbelievable.
It's just fun. He's got so many stories, and he's been through so much. I didn't realize they went through that level of training.
Oh, yeah.
And golly.
Yeah, he'd be a good guy to have in case your appendix burst or something like
well,
that.
I think he's one step down from MacGyver. I mean, really.
That's right. He is a MacGyver. He's a true MacGyver for sure. All right. Well, that was unexpected. Well, it was kind of unexpected. I had been talking to Doug about coming on, but he didn't tell me when he was coming. I didn't get an email back, and he just popped in. Tonight was actually the first night. I said, can you be on tonight? Can you be on next week? And here he was. So I wasn't totally surprised when I saw his name pop up there. It's connecting. We're always glad to have Doug there, and we're going to try. We're going to try to get him down to Huntsville Hamfest. That's a good Hamfest.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
All right, so let's see. We're doing okay, I guess. Alan, you have something special to talk about tonight, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, special. It's not particularly, as kind of exciting as what Doug was talking about. It's just, got some unfortunate news this morning about a good friend of mine that passed away this morning, became a silent key. Mm-hmm. And we never like to hear that. And but he's one of these guys that I've known for many, many years. And actually, maybe what I'll do, if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen here, and I'll put a couple of pictures up here. Let's see. Let's put this guy up here. So this is my friend Drew, W2OU. I've known him for probably as long as I've been a ham. In fact, he was one of the VEs that initially tested me many years ago. So Drew, 73, just a couple of days ago. Really fantastic guy. He's a member of at least 4 or 5 radio clubs that I know of. I'm a member of many of those same clubs. I've known him that long, and he's probably responsible for getting several thousand amateurs licensed, and I'm not kidding about that. If you're a VE and you go to the ARRL website and look up the VEs, and you can look up the number of sessions that they've been in. I think he's number 1 in New Jersey. He's been involved with, and in many cases been the VE coordinator for 449 VE sessions. So he's been, instrumental in getting a lot of people started and upgraded through, in their amateur radio career. So this picture was taken at one of the clubs, W2QW in Central New Jersey here, the Raritan Valley Radio Club Hamfest in 2019, which is the last time we've had that Hamfest. I had my little QRP station set up there, which is kind of right behind where this picture was taken. But this was Drew there. There's a picture of Drew here. He was always really proud to be a VE, and in this case, just taking some pictures with folks that got licensed and things like that. He was always willing to do that. Just another really good picture of Drew here, always willing to help. Fantastic example of a real Elmer. There's Drew's wedding picture. I'm not sure what year he was married, but so I just thought that was kind of a fun picture. Another picture of Drew probably in the last couple of years. And I think this is from one of his a family event here. I just had to have a bunch of pictures of Drew. There's Drew with a couple of his grandsons, and then with his dog. But just a great guy. Like I said, he's a member of several ham clubs, VE coordinator. Almost 450 sessions. Also involved in local community emergency response teams, and also helped coordinate putting together a ham radio classes for those CERT teams and things like that. So really a true Elmer, and really a loss for me personally, and certainly a loss for the hobby as well. But just wanted to kind of at least share and let more people know about Drew. Just a great guy, and we'll all be remembering him and keeping him and his family now in our thoughts. So I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that. I know sorry about the bit of a downer after such an exciting session with Doug, but it's just one of those things that happened today that, you want people to kind of think and honor his memory. So I appreciate you letting me do that.
No, it's important, and thank you.
Yeah. there's been a lot of people affected by the COVID. In fact, you know, we've got a long time here, almost a year, but you know, the last month or 2 or 3 months, we're starting to see it get closer and closer to us.
Yeah,
you know, more people that we know.
I don't have the details of why he passed. I don't think it was actually COVID related. I know he's had some medical issues and things like that, so I don't know whether this is, I don't think it was a COVID related thing, but it just happens during this time, in which case, you know, we're not even going to be able to get together, you know, to honor him properly because of that. So
yeah, that's true. All right, hey guys, you're listening to Amateur Radio Roundtable, a ham radio show, and you're listening out there on International Shortwave, WBCQ on 7490. It's all about ham radio, amateur radio. And you can join us live on Tuesday nights just by going to w5kub.com, w5kub.com, and clicking on video, or if you just want to go to YouTube, you can go straight to YouTube and just put in W5KUB, and you'll find us on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Shoot us an email. Let us know where you are if you're listening out there on shortwave. All right. Well, I had the phone system geared up to open phones tonight, but I don't think we'll do that. We don't have that much more time. And Alan, you had a segment. We can do that next week.
Yeah, that'll work fine. Yeah, it wasn't anything crazy, so I think we'll hold it for next time. Would be great.
Yeah, and I need to look at my schedule and see. I think we've got somebody else planned for next week. I can't keep up with it. As Kathy and I talk, this is kind of like Friday night for me. You know, I work hard all day on Friday getting the show together, and then Friday night when it's over, Tuesday night when it's over, it's like Friday night. So we have a joke around here that it's Friday night and tomorrow is my Saturday. So we just want to thank everybody that's helped us here. Help us get the word out about the show each week. And if you see our posting in Facebook, share it, send it out in Twitter or whatever other social media you have. It helps us to get the show out. Oh, one of the things I need to mention to you, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe right now. Hit that subscribe button up in the YouTube there. Hit the subscribe button. And if you will, hit the like button. And the like button helps us to get our rankings higher. And if we can get our rankings higher, then YouTube actually takes our show and it places it where more people can see it and find it. So do that. And also, hey, if you want to get notified when we're live, sometimes we have unscheduled live events some evening or afternoon. So hit that little bell, hit the bell next to the subscribe button, and that'll send you a notice when we're live. So we really appreciate you doing that. Carolina says, I love the setup behind you. The setup behind me is actually my workbench. It's actually my workbench, but this is all done by magic. My workbench is actually over there. So I can also get in front of my ham station. There's my ham station right there. I can get behind my ham station. Or hey, a lot of people like this one. Look at this. This is my super station right here. Turn that little knob right there on that Johnson matchbox there. And for all you guys up north, we have a studio up north.
Hey, Tom, which one's the real background?
Yeah, we have what was it, Bill?
What's the real background?
Yeah, well, I'll show you in a minute. There's the our northern studio, and here's our southern studio. And we can always go to Studio B. If we need to, we can go to Studio B, which is right here. This is kind of neat, but I don't know.
What he's not telling you is that northern studio shot he has was live yesterday.
That's right.
Yeah. And if you really want to see what's behind me, there you go, right there. That's what's behind me right there. So So now you know the secret to our broadcast here. All right, well, guys, we've had a kind of a fun night tonight. It was great talking with Doug.
Oh, I love talking to him. He's fun.
That was really a great program. So many interesting stories, and I know you've had him on before, and you've had him on previous programs. So there's probably a lot of stories that he's told that he may not tell again. But I need to go back and watch so I can hear all these stories.
These were all new to me. This is the first time I've heard these.
And the thing, I mean, Doug has actually spent the night here at home, and I spent a lot of time with Doug, and the stories are just so interesting, and it's just amazing. And when he's signing autographs for people at Hamcation, he's been up there with us, I think, 8 years now. But when he signs autographs for people, they're in a long line, and a person will ask him a question, and he will answer that question just like it's the first time that someone has ever asked him that question. And so over and over and over, his personality is just outstanding, and he's a great guy.
He's a lot of fun.
Let me show you, I've got a quick video here. I want to show you something that Bill has worked in the firmware code and has helped us get ready for our next launch. We hope to launch our next balloon here in maybe the next week or so. I want you to see this, and Bill, I may not describe it exactly right. There is one error in here. I said the CW was 5 words a minute. I think if you'll look at the chart at the end, you'll see it's 11. I want to run this as about 1.5 minutes. I want to show you guys what we're doing and what you'll be able to do new when you're following the balloon. So here we go. And I don't know if you guys are going to hear it. You guys are probably not going to hear it out there remotely, but the viewers will. So here we go. Here is at minute 1, and you'll see the chart at the end of this video. But minute 1, right now we're on minute 0. But at minute 1, we're going to send a CW ID out, and it's going to be about 5 words per minute. And it's going to be on 14092. So we're getting close to that. After the CWID, about 10 seconds later, we're going to come over here to Whisper, and you'll hear the QRSS CW, very slow, about 1/2 word per minute. Here we go. All right, you heard that? That was at the 1 minute mark right there. The QRSS should start up. There it is. If you listen, that is very slow Morse code. It's about 1/2 word per minute. There was a K. That was a U. That was a B, W5KUB, at 1/2 word per minute. Now that'll be decoded with QRSS. Now, at the 2 minute mark, at the 2 minute mark, the Whisper data starts, and it runs at 2 minutes and 4 minutes to give you our regular Whisper data. If you're trying to track this on or copy it on Whisper, if you'll uncheck prefer type 1 messages, then you will also not only receive the W5KUB, but you'll also receive the Q call that we're sending out that has the extra data in it. So you can see the Q call, and you can see the W5KUB. So that's kind of what we've got, and it's going to be low power. I would imagine the CW beacon if you're in the U.S., the CW beacon is only going to be heard if the tracker is flying over the U.S. So I doubt you're going to hear it very far away, but who knows? Okay, so that kind of gives you an indication of, kind of a new thing we've added to the balloon there. Bill worked that code in and the QRSS in, and that, by the way, is posted on our Facebook group. If you want to go back and review it again, it's posted on our Facebook group. And Bill, I think we're going to be getting ready for launch soon. I've decided not to go with the amplifier. That thing is squirrely. I'll tell you, I ran it all day for hours and everything looked perfect. And then at one time I'd look and it would be up to 149 milliamps at one time. And I actually just took my finger and I touched the shield on the coax and I felt it like a little discharge. And then the current went back down to normal on the amplifier. So I don't know if I've got static building up or something's going on, but I don't want to chance putting an amplifier up in the air if it's going to go crazy. So we're not going to run an amp right now.
We design our circuits in the real world, Tom.
What was that, Bill?
You know how we design our circuitry in the real world.
How do you do that?
We do all kinds of calculations and models and get it to the theoretical, what we goes in and what we expect to come out, and then a miracle happens.
Oh yeah, the miracle part is that's the part I'm having trouble with, the miracle part. And man,
there was I'll give an example of when I was in college. We made a transistor out of the actual die when we put it in an oven at 1100 degrees C to dope the thing, and we calculated that it would have to be in the oven for precisely 23 minutes. Well, all the students calculated about the same amount of time. Some went 23 minutes, some went 24, and all of ours were destroyed. They just punched right through, and there was no working transistor. The teaching assistants worked perfectly, and we asked them, what did you do different? I put it in for 22 minutes.
Yeah.
He says the calculation said 23, but then I tried it and it failed. So then I backed it off a minute. And that's exactly how they do it when they produce circuit dies, when they're making integrated circuits. They work out what it's supposed to be, and then they work out what it actually should be by trial and error.
Well, and here's the unknown. And one of the things that I was having trouble with for days, the antenna impedance greatly affects the current draw on that MOSFET. I mean, it can go anywhere from 15 milliamps to 150 milliamps. I mean, it just goes crazy. And I finally got it where on a 50 ohm dummy load, or my antenna, it was hanging in pretty steady down at the low milliamp range where I felt like it should be. But
by the way, Tom, I think your 2 hours are just about up on
they really are. We got about a minute. Let me just say thank you to everybody out there on shortwave that's listening today. You're listening to Amateur Radio Roundtable and a show about ham radio. Tune in next week from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on 7490. You'll hear the next show. Or you can go to w5kub.com on Tuesday nights, and you can join the show live if you have internet. Join our Facebook group. It's just called W5KUB. Join our Facebook group. Send us an email if you're listening to us out there. I'd love to hear from you on shortwave. Thank you. Good night to everybody out there. Okay, so Bill, thank you. The antenna impedance, and it's going to be hard to know what the real antenna impedance is with this sucker up in the air,
By the way, your CW speeds are about 11 word per minute for the first one, and it's 2 words a minute for the slow one.
Oh, was it? Okay. You know, it's going to be interesting to see if we can hear it. And we'll talk maybe next week. Maybe next week we could talk about the QRSS. If a person wants to actually use the program to copy the QRSS, and that program actually gives you a waterfall, and you can actually see the Morse code in the waterfall. I think, is that right, Bill?
Yeah, it tends to noise average out anything that's random noise, and you just see a white line for the dots and the dashes. And I just tuned it in the other morning, and I was copying a guy from Great Britain and a fellow from Germany. Took about 3 minutes for the entire call sign to be sent. And there is a mode where they can go 10 minutes. But I think the majority of people I've been looking at, they take about anywhere from 3 to 8 minutes to send a call sign. And it's quite readable. You can't hear the code. It's so weak, but in the waterfall display, you can actually see the code. So even though you might be below the noise level for your balloon, you'll be able to see the code if you use one of these waterfall programs that are designed for this QRSS, which is a very slow CW mode. QRS means please send more slowly, is the Q signal for send Morse code slowly. So just like QRP is low power and QRPP is very low power, QRSS would be very low speed.
All right. Hey, let's go ahead and close the show down. Thanks everybody for watching out there. Had a great night. Come back next week and see us. Join our Facebook group. Please subscribe to our channel. That'll help us out a whole lot. Hit the like button. Send me 3